I'm from the Woodlands now. I was working for the government. I was a Secret Service agent, and I did 25 years with the government. And my last stop was here in the Houston field office, and we settled, my family and I settled in the Woodlands. And my wife, within a week or two, said, "You get transferred again, you're going alone." She found home. This was the place she wanted to live. So we dug the roots in very deep, and we love it here, and we've been here almost 9 or 10 years now. And when I was coming up for retirement, I said, okay, well, what can I do with my experience that I've had over 25 years? I mean, I loved what I was doing, but it was time to get out. And I knew I wanted to pursue something in business. So I did 5 years in our training division, and I would teach protection and tactics and firearms to recruits coming in, as well as the agents already on the job that were on the president's detail or the vice president's detail. I used to give them refresher courses and keep them their skills honed, and I loved doing it. So I thought maybe I can encompass a shooting range with the training aspect of it. And then it just morphed into this massive 33,000 square foot Saddle River range here. I incorporated archery. I knew I wanted to make it fairly upscale. I mean, we want it to be open for everyone, and we are. We're open to the public 7 days a week. But I knew I wanted to make it very comfortable for people, where it wouldn't be your typical gun range where you come in and you shoot and, you know, the air handling isn't so great and you might be breathing stuff you probably shouldn't be breathing. So I knew I wanted to make it a very comfortable place for everyone. So I made it top notch. I think we are the best place in all of Texas. We service everyone who loves shooting sports, archery, guns, pistols, rifles, you name it. On our range here, everything is indoors. It's something that people really want to shoot their guns and their bows in air conditioning. And when we're in Houston in the summer, that's where you want to shoot. So our ranges are 68 degrees year round. So you could come in and shoot in wonderful temperature. We're also a full retail store. We sell bows and arrows and all the accessories you need for the archery side. But we also have everything you need for the gun side as well, from ammunition and rifles and shotguns, and of course pistols. We have lots of different training classes, from the license to carry class. The Texas license to carry used to be called concealed handgun license. They changed that once open carry happened last year. And even basic handgun all the way up to advanced carbine. All our classes are online. People could register online and show up and take a class, whether you've never held a gun before or whether you're advanced and you just want to get better. We have a great team of instructors here that can bring any shooter at the level they are at and bring them up to another level. I either wanted to be a police officer or a firefighter, if I couldn't be a professional football player. That was always my goal as a little child, but I didn't quite grow tall enough, so I had to, I played football all through my youth, but never quite played at the higher levels. So I knew I wanted to give back. I knew I wanted to be either a police officer. My father was a volunteer firefighter, and I just loved that idea that you're helping people. And it wasn't until I went to college and I was in business school in New York, and about junior year, I realized that I wanted to do something more than business. My father was a businessman, and I enjoyed business. But I knew I wanted to go back and try to help others. And I started doing a lot of research, and this is before the internet, so I had to write letters, type letters to the FBI and the Secret Service and even National Security Council and the agency there. And the Secret Service actually responded to me, and we were communicating via letters back and forth. And next thing I know, they sent me out a application, which was about this thick, and again, typewriters back in those days, did them all in triplicate and sent them all back, and they sent me more stuff, and it just went back and forth. And about a year and a half later, they called and said, "Would you like a position? And if you do, show up here on this date at this time." And I confirmed, and I was there. My career started at the White House, and I was a member of what we call the emergency response team at the White House. And I was there during the first Gulf War in 1990 with Herbert Walker Bush. And that was a pretty crazy time. There was protests every night, if you remember those days. And lots of fence jumpers, lots of crazy stuff going on, and people throwing, oil and blood on the pillars of the White House. So it was a good time to learn as a young officer how to do the job. And then I was selected for a special agent position from there, and I went to the Washington field office, and then I got transferred to the New York field office. And being from New Jersey, New York was fine with me. I loved it. Lived in New Jersey and just commuted into New York. We were in the World Trade Center there. And then I was selected for the President's detail, so I went down to Washington in 1999, and I did Clinton's last 2 years and Bush's first 3 years on his detail. And then, like I mentioned, I was assigned to the training division, and I did 5 years there and absolutely loved it, just loved it. And then the opportunity came up. I actually remember when I got the call to get transferred to Houston. I was on President Obama's detail at the time when he was running for office in '09, and I got the call that I was selected for an assignment in Houston, Texas. And I called my wife, told her we moving to Texas. When you leave the New York field office, at your going away party, they give you what they call a tavern plate, which is a pewter plate. And your friends that are giving you that send-off take that plate, and they shoot one hole in the plate for every year you spent in New York. New York was, and some people would argue this, but New York, we called it the Big Dirty. It was the hardest, most difficult office to work in because the cost of living in New York, the difficulty getting around town, the things you had to do, it was a very difficult office to put up with. It's just one unique thing that the New York field office does. So I spent a little over 6 years there, so they popped 6 holes in my tavern plate. It was an honor to serve. It really was. And the things I like to share most are not so much the personalities about the people I protected, the presidents and vice presidents and the heads of state. It's more about what I got to see that very, very few people get to see. I mean, riding on Air Force One and Marine One with the president and just being at the White House. I mean, people don't get that. Riding in a presidential motorcade is just, people see it from the road and see the motorcade go by, but being a part of that and being an integral part of the security plan that is involved with any time the president moves, whether he's going to church right up the street of the White House or the Capitol building, or he's traveling to, I've been to Vietnam and China and other places, Italy, wherever the president goes, we go with him, and we go weeks in advance to make sure it's secure. So it definitely was a great career. I had a great time.